CMA and the city of Kigali for hosting this occasion and for giving me the opportunity of taking a look at Rwanda and actually coming to suggest something. I'm not quite sure how we are going to do this. I think it may be best if I, first of all, give you an idea about the entire scheme, the social REIT scheme. I think most of you know Kigali and Rwanda very well, certainly much more than I do. So, first of all, let us take a look at the scheme, and then I will spend hopefully an equal amount of time on the actual feasibility study, where I can tell you the end result right away, where I am suggesting that this scheme be adopted. We will then break for have a breakout session, I think after lunch, isn't it? When we will have 3 sections. You will easily identify which is your section by the time I get through the presentation, where you can discuss the scheme and the feasibility study aspects as relevant to the 3 sections. I will attend all 3 and then perhaps develop some comments from all of you as to what you think about it all. So, can we start with the first presentation? Well, I could do it from here. Okay. I should tell you, the persons who've spoken so far have talked about the capital markets and so on. But actually, I recently spent, not so recently, but about over a year ago, some time at NASA in California, actually the NASA Center for Silicon Valley, and I learned a few things. And I would like to talk about the scheme as a NASA type of scheme, because then one comes to realize how the world is going, and one comes to realize also what one is doing in this context. If you think that NASA is very far from the concerns of especially the very poor, actually they are not. NASA used to be about rocket ships, but today they are trying very much to look at the world and the social problems of the world in the same way. And they have succeeded to a great extent, especially in our own field, which is capital markets and finance. That field is all smashed up and probably forever, because of the tremendous innovations that are coming in and changing banking and especially the capital market, and changing it in a way that old-timers can no longer recognize it. If you go to Singapore today, I think some of you have been, you have seen really the structure. The structure is magnificent. Like all got hollowed out by NASA. So the future is actually quite different. And people used to say, and I think the last time I was here at the Capital Markets Conference, somebody mentioned that it's a common saying that what we are doing in capital markets in developing the developing countries of the world is not rocket science. What I want to say is actually it is rocket science. Because we are rather poor countries, our resources are limited, and therefore we have no time to experiment a great deal. We have to make each dollar count. So that is why we have to do things at the the latest technology and the latest methodology. When I first went to NASA, I was rather surprised that they were honoring one of my countrymen, Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur C. Clarke I knew very well because he was a member of a small club that we had, just a swimming pool club. And he never left Sri Lanka after he got there and he started to live there. And he wrote, and his writings were the only science fiction writer, the vast majority of whose suggestions actually came into real life. And that is why they honor him at NASA and in the science industry. So anyway, that apart, let me get into capital markets with this idea in mind, which is somehow there is in here something that is of exponential growth. Exponential growth is something that will hit everybody and it will smash up the future from what you are thinking now. And exponential growth in a country like Rwanda or any of our countries cannot start from the top because it is too small. The exponential growth of the future of Rwanda is exactly in those underserved settlements. It is actually not something that is going to come from outside. And that is what I am going to demonstrate, hopefully, in this little talk. By rocket science, I don't mean actual physical rockets, but the relevant idea which in our industry of securities is the blockchain and other ideas where you see the computer has got distributed. So the distributed information and distributed technology is what is most powerful in the context of Africa. Having said that mouthful, let me go back home. This is my sort of standard presentation, so I will try to go through it a little fast. Shall we go to the next slide? Actually, I can have it here and go myself.
Okay, do you have the remote?
Yes, can you give me the remote?
No. Do you have a remote?
No.
No. I will bring it for you.
Okay. Now, this is just a picture that I took here in Kigali. Go back to the other one. And what do you think that shows? I used to ask people who went to India, what did you feel when you went to India? What did you think about? Most people talked about this, that there was a lot of population and overcrowding. In India, if you go driving like this, you have to be avoiding people and cattle and camels and so on. And it seems that there is a lot of overcrowding even here in Kigali. But is that true? By and large, if you see a scene like this, what is the thought that should come to your mind? Something wrong in the planning. Because actually there is more than enough space for all the people on earth. Next one, please. The UN Habitat calls the largest slum in Nairobi, which is Kibera, or the people there call Kibera, the biggest slum in the world. It's a contestable statement, but these are some pictures of that. And there is actually a home population for Kibera, who were given their name to it, which is actually the tribe, a recognized tribe of Kenya, which is the Kenyan Nubians. But they are now a very, very tiny part of Kibera. Now, next slide, please. And what is the problem here? This is the same picture. Okay, next one. Yeah. Now these are parts of, this is actually again in Kigali, what is called an underserved settlement. The term for informal slums, so on, the correct term really is underserved settlements. We need a sort of neutral term. And the feature of underserved settlement is that in the past, in 1900s, right after World War I, there were underserved settlements all over Asia and in Africa. Those are really migrants who were looking for opportunity and came to cities. Now we have increasingly people who have been driven there really by the forces of globalization, which pits workers in different countries against each other. Now this is a normal phenomenon that is going to continue to occur in our world. For the people in these underserved settlements or slums, that used to be a way station. You go in, you get a job in the government of Sri Lanka, you have to move into the capital city. The job in the government of Sri Lanka doesn't pay you enough for a decent place, so you have to stay in some kind of slum and for the first 2 or 3 years until you get your improvements. That is no longer the case. People actually who go into underserved settlements are going to stay there a very long time or forever. So this is the source of a problem. Next please. And inside the slum, this is a typical picture. It's actually a good picture. And it's a question of what do you call that? Is that a decent life or a harsh life? And do you wish it on your wife, on your mother, on your daughter? Next please. So this is a global problem. And it is a very serious problem here in Kigali. We will get into this later in the study. Next slide, please. And so far, all over the world, various solutions have been tried. Here in Kigali as well as in other parts of Africa. Nairobi has many solutions tried. Sri Lanka probably all the solutions tried out. And continue. Go to the next slide. What has happened, however, is that next slide. You can sort of read it for yourself. What has happened is that